You can use the Array tool to copy selected objects in a linear or radial pattern. The Array tool creates several instances of one or more objects that you can then manipulate simultaneously. If you wish, the members of the array can belong to a group. When you select an object, Revit displays a contextual ribbon for modifying that type of element. I'll select the transformer. As you can see, a contextual ribbon appears and includes a Modify panel. To create an array, I'll click the Array tool. The options bar displays several options, including linear and radial. I can click the Linear button to create a linear array. A linear array creates copies of the selected objects along a line in the direction that you specify. If you choose the Group and Associate checkbox, each copy of the object becomes part of a group, and you can subsequently modify those objects by editing the group. If you clear this checkbox, each copy is treated as an individual object. In the Number field, you specify the total number of copies to make of the selected object. Note that this includes the original object being arrayed. The Move To option lets you control whether the array will be based on the spacing between the first and second members of the array, or between the first and last member of the array. And if you select the Constrain checkbox, you restrict the direction of the array to vectors that run perpendicular or collinear to the selected objects. For example, I'll choose the Group and Associate checkbox and specify a total number of 3 objects, my original and 2 copies. I'll select the Move to Second Radio button, which means that the distance I specify for the array will be the distance between the original and the first copy. Each successive copy will then be that same distance from the previous copy. I'll also choose the Constrain checkbox so that my copies will be aligned horizontally. Next, I need to click in the drawing area to indicate a starting point for measuring the distance between the original and the first copy. While I can select a point on the object being copied, I can also select my starting point anywhere in the model. Revit then displays a bounding box indicating the size of the objects being copied. I can then move the cursor in the direction that I want to array the object. As you can see, the box snaps to snap points and a dimension appears between the first point I picked and the current cursor position. I can click to place the copy or type a dimension and press Enter. I will enter 3 feet or 900 millimeters in the metric file and press Enter. Once I complete the array, because I had selected the Group and Associate checkbox, Revit displays a number indicating the number of copies I initially said that I wanted in the array. If I want, I can change this number and press Enter to create fewer or more copies of the object. Each copy is placed the specified distance from the previous object in the array. For example, I'll change the array count to 4 to place one more copy of the transformer. Then I'll click anywhere in the drawing window to deselect the array. Even after you finish creating the array, if the objects in the array are part of a group, you can still change the number of objects in the array. I'll select one item in the array. I can then move my cursor until I see the array count and click, or just select one of the other items in the array. Now I can once again see the array count, and I could change it back to 3 if I wanted. Be aware that Revit displays the Modify Model Groups contextual ribbon. If you click the Ungroup button, the objects are no longer part of a group, in which case you can modify individual objects. This is similar to the result you would get if you created the array with the Group and Associate checkbox cleared.